thought I would read oh, 1 second here. I thought I would read just a few quotes, and I'm hoping that you folks can have brought some poems or stories, anecdotes you want to share. One thing I don't know if I mentioned, but someone had mentioned that it'd be very interesting to hear what you thought of about life before Baba came into your life. Some of you may have an interesting kind of, story that occurs before Baba entered your life. But anyway, I'm just going to start with some quotes. This is from a Sufi, Sheikh Toussaint Bayrak, something like that. He says the ego. A lot of people over the years have been fighting their ego, trying to struggle with their ego to eliminate it. So this is an answer to that. The ego is like a thief who steals into your house at night to steal whatever is valuable and worthwhile. You cannot fight this thief directly because it will mirror whatever force you bring against it. If you have a gun, the thief will have a gun. If you have a knife, the thief will have a knife as well. To struggle with the thief is to invite disaster. So what can you do? The only practical solution is to turn on the light. The thief who is a coward at heart will then run out. How do we turn on the light? Through the practice of remembrance, awareness, and heedfulness of the beloved. Was that audible, I hope? Okay, here's one. This is Mother Teresa. Dear Lord, break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in. Dear Lord, break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in. This is Prophet Muhammad. God is compassionate to those who show compassion to others. Prophet Muhammad. And here's another quote from Mother Teresa. In my years of work among the poor, among the people, I have come more and more to realize that it is being unwanted that is the worst disease that any human being can ever experience. For all kinds of diseases, there are medicines and cures, but for being unwanted, unless there are willing hands to serve and look at them as Christ, I don't think this terrible disease can ever be cured. Beautiful. So anybody, so this is kind of a potluck. Anybody who wants to venture out, I'm not asking you right away, Bob Yeager, but you're welcome to come on anytime. He's got some very nice poems. There's one I want him to, hey, Bob, would you feel like at least just starting out with the poem, A Swift Kick?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I can quite remember it. I mean, I remember it, but let me see if I can find it in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, no hurry. Take your time. Anyone else want to venture out to share something? Okay. Now, where is
Meher has raised her hand.
Meherabad?
Hey, Baba.
I want to read a
Meher.
quote. One should be free from the birth and death, but being entrapped in the wheel of one goes round and round and always suffers is quite easy to extract oneself from the rounds and birth and deaths, but because of it so easy, it becomes so difficult. Once you may firmly decide not to be engulfed in the Maya, you can disentangle yourself once and all, but it requires a Sadguru grace, and for that you must be worthy. Jai Baba.
So Meher, can you read that again? I missed a few words.
Once you should be free from the birth and death, but being entrapped in this wheel, one goes round and round and always suffers. It's quite easy to extricate oneself from the rounds of birth and death. But because it is so easy, it becomes so difficult. Once you firmly decide not to be engulfed in the Maya, you can disentangle yourself once and all. This requires a Sadguru's grace, and for that you must be worthy. Jai Baba.
Okay, and who was that, Meher?
That was it's a book from Baba's inviting his grace. It's a book.
Okay, so that was Baba. Yeah.
Yeah, I got this from Meherabad just now.
Okay,
Yeah, just now got it.
okay.
Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, thank you.
Bata.
Yeah, let Bob go first. I'll go after him.
Okay, and we can get some more poetry from Bob, but I like this one. Listen to this one closely. This is good.
Swift kick. In the orange circle of sweet sour sauce, this bright yellow yolk appears festive, but too generous a dollop on the egg roll claws through sinuses to explode like napalm behind the eyes until sneezing, crying, gasping for breath, consciousness goes. No worry, no want, no future or past, nothing in the universe matters. For this fiery fraction of a second, free. Chicken soup for the soul, nice enough in its way. But what the soul really wants may be more along the lines of too much Chinese mustard.
Read that one again. You got to read it again.
Oh, and of course, I just lost the place.
Oh,
I closed the book, but
well, what, we'll go back.
oh, here, I got,
Oh, you got it?
I got it, yeah. In the orange circle of sweet sour sauce, this bright yellow yolk appears festive, but too generous a dollop on the egg roll claws through sinuses to explode like napalm behind the eyes until sneezing, crying, gasping for breath, consciousness goes. No worry, no want, no future or past, nothing in the universe matters. For this fiery fraction of a second, free. Chicken soup for the soul, nice enough in its way. But what the soul really wants may be more along the lines of too much Chinese mustard.
I mean, what kind of imagination creates something like that?
That was fun. That was so much fun pairing our poems together in that volume. So.
Yeah, he's talking about this book that we did together right there.
Yeah.
He's got one poem on one side and I've got a poem on the other. And they're kind of related. They're in theme.
Jeff, can I just butt in for a second and say something?
Yeah.
This reminds me of an actual incident that happened to me when I mistakenly put a forkful of literally of wasabi into my mouth, which I never knew before what it was. And the explosion that went off in my brain was so akin to what he just read. For a minute, everything just disappeared from my
Yeah.
senses.
No future, no past.
That's right.
Free.
This literally happened to me. This is so funny.
Yeah.
Wasabi will do it. Wasabi will do it every time.
Yes, yes, yes. That was excellent.
Martha.
What creativity, Bob. Really amazing, really amazing. So I was feeling lately very isolated. I'm a massage therapist for almost 40 years, so I've had contact with people every day. And not to touch my clients, not to touch anyone for so long, it's starting to wear at me. So I was remembering, you know, Baba says, I am who you take me to be. And Baba's always been my beloved. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go look for one of those really romantic letters that the women wrote to Baba and Baba wrote back. So I just went and picked up Love Alone Prevails, and I opened the book, and there was the letters. It was during 1934. And Baba was going back and forth about the movie thing in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff, okay? And so the ladies were all, you know, Baba was gonna come and they were all excited. And then Baba writes, he's not gonna come. And they were just devastated. And this is what Baba writes to them. But the thing is that Baba could be writing this letter to all of us right now. It is so unbelievable. Anyway, it's unbelievable to me. I don't know what it would be to you, but so I'm going to just read part of this letter. But I really enjoyed it, and he really refers to so many things that I feel some of us might be going through during this period. And Baba writes, my darling gopis. Well, first, I love that for Baba to call us darling. You know, God's calling us darling. I love that. I received your letters. I find in them a tone of depression. Ever since I cabled you that my coming to the West for the present may not be probable if the film project doesn't work. I understand why you all, dearest, feel like that, and do not at all blame you, because it's your love for me that makes you a living lifelessness. You have no idea how sad I feel for you. However, in spite of all this, I want you to be happy and cheerful. For who knows, the film project might work at any moment, or I might come anyway to see you. I have to work in my own way, having had to look to everything in these times of great spiritual upheaval. What it means, you have no idea. You'll all have to do great work for me in the future, as and when allotted to you, and you must be in full spirit and strength. You must be in full spirit and strength, Baba says, for all of that. This mental depression tells upon your health and energy, which are both essential for future work and should not be unnecessarily wasted like this. I see in some a spirit of depression, total dejection at times. Why? If a cable, as I sent, makes some of you so dejected and unhappy and spiritless, how am I to prepare you for the work? Have you any idea of the greatness of the task that is ahead for the spiritual upheaval of the world? It will require a spirit that is prepared to face anything, rigid and immovable like a rock, weathering all blasts of winds and storms from all the four corners. You all have in you latent that spirit and iron will, and I am working at all that to bring it out. But this means some of you don't want to let me do it. You're crying out at the smallest touch of the tender chords of the inner being. It means more work for me. I quite understand how you feel. I fully realize all of your circumstances. Remember, you are all mine, nearest to my heart and ever in my thoughts. And this coming and going to the West is now to be settled once and for all. I want you to be with me much more even than you want me to be with you. But there is an inward pleasure and happiness in our desires unfilled than in those fulfilled. But Baba says, there is an inward pleasure and happiness in our desires unfilled than in those fulfilled. The pangs and sufferings of separation are essential for the experiencing of the bliss of union. If there is no darkness, none would appreciate the light. So, if you did not suffer separation and feel what it means and get that experience, how could you ever have appreciated my love? Now, I am trying to give you something else, which will enable you to realize fully what love is, by giving you experiences that you've never had, but which will teach you in every step new aspects and the significance of love, which will bring you nearer every step. At the same time, prepare you for the future work that you have to do for me, the future work that you will have to do for me. You darlings don't know what is going on behind the scenes. And in your utter childlike ignorance, you cry, I don't want this, I don't want that, I only want such, and so on. That is why I am not at all angry or annoyed, but I love you. Whatever you are mine, my own, my heart. Soon, great events of great changes everywhere will transpire in rapid successions, transforming the very ideal and outlook of life all the world over. And a new awakening for the life spiritual will result. As I have been repeatedly telling you, you are all being prepared for your different parts in this great divine drama. And that has to be enacted, in which I am to play a leading part.
Yeah, will do.
You weren't muted, Jeff. So
Uh-oh.
the last part, you are all being prepared for your different parts in this great divine drama that has to be enacted and in which I am to play a leading role. Are you not glad that you have to play your parts with me? Baba,
Wow,
Baba.
beautiful and very relevant. What
I
we're
know, it's pretty amazing.
dealing with today.
Yeah. So they were getting ready then and we're getting ready now.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hey, can I say something, Marta? When you were like, I'm gonna read something from 1930. What was the year? 30. I don't have my book open here.
1934?
1934. So right when you said that,
Yeah.
I was flipped open right to that, and my eyes were looking right at that exact paragraph, that exact first word in this book. Before you started speaking or brought it up, I was just staring at it and reading through it, and then you started talking about it, and I looked up and I was like, is she gonna say this exact okay, she just said it. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, out of all the pages, yeah.
Yeah.
You just turn to it, Alan? You just
Yeah.
open the book, just
Yeah.
like I opened the book to find the love letters and it opened up to that
Yeah.
part.
Yep. So I just want to share that, Jay Baba.
Yeah.
Twins
Great minds
separated.
think alike.
Thank you.
A lawyer from New York and
A monkey from Santa Barbara.
yeah.
Tony.
Yes. So I don't know how long this will go. And if we go longer, I will. This is a book of guzzles that I wrote in 2007 and 2008, self-published then. And so maybe if I come back, I'll just pick 3 at random from here. But right now, I found 3 short poems that are more in the last decade. First is a guzzle. It's called Vintage Wine. Do not give a single thought to mundane affairs today. Do your duty, but keep your mind and spirit free today. Haven't you noticed how it's so often the little things that tie you up in mental knots and twisted spirit strings? Today, let your daily doings be as meaningless as your last encounter with a speck of dust. Unnoticed it came and passed. I will remind you when I want you speaking out, and I will be directing you to whisper or shout. I will provide the perfect foils to get you going. Know that it is all my grace, and let love keep growing. Scandalous tongues wagging are in your mind alone, auditory reflections of your own danger zone. Today, we will embrace all that with love so fine that even the worst harangue turns into vintage wine.
Beautiful.
The next one is also a guzzle. It's called Bonfire of the Symmetries. Scatter me, let this bonfire die. Then scatter me near, low, and high. Scatter me far and scatter me friendly. Scatter me soft and scatter me gently. What remains when I am gone will be a flame to kiss the sun. Touching its heart, a solar flare will reach the earth, I know not where. Falling on the heated earth, a gift of majesty, love, and mirth. A seed implanted it shall be, to give birth to another me. And I will bless the sun above for another chance to live and love. And one more small one called Lovers and Warriors. Shivaji was a warrior king. Jesus was a contemplative lover. Rama was a warrior king. Krishna was a lover too. Muhammad gave battle its due. Buddha was a contemplative. Service of the divine needs peaceful lovers and warriors bold, as the times require for humanity to be made whole. One without the other turns the diamond back to coal.
Wonderful, Tony.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Right. I don't know where these people come up with this stuff, you know?
Get out of the way and let Baba do his thing.
Repeat the last one again.
Yes.
Tony,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Excellent.
It's called Lovers and Warriors. Shivaji was a warrior king. Jesus was a contemplative lover. Rama was a warrior king. Krishna was a lover too. Muhammad gave battle its due. Buddha was a contemplative. Service of the divine needs peaceful lovers and warriors bold, as the times require for humanity to be made whole. One without the other turns the diamond back to coal.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you. So I wanted to share a quote. I actually got this New Year's Eve this past year. And I'm just curious, like where this is from or when Baba would have said this. But like, I love it. I've never heard it before. When I got it, and it's been sticking with me. I've been thinking about it a lot, and it goes, "It is because of my love for you that you love me." And Jeff or anyone, does anyone know where that's from or when Baba would have said that?
I can, I have it written down somewhere. So
Okay.
remind me and I will try to get it, but right now I would have
Yes.
to go on my computer and.
Sure.
find-
Okay. I'll definitely remind you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that quote. It's so, to
Yeah,
me, it's just so powerful. And it just reminds me, like personally, like how much he loves us. And it's like never ending love, even when we're down and out or when we're not, when we're going through hard times, that he loves us so much. And his love will always be there with us through the rest of our lives and next life and the next after that.
yeah. You know, Anne Conlon, when she met Baba for the first time, she realized that the love in her was actually coming from Baba.
Oh,
And she
wow.
was just returning the love back to Baba, and then it would come to her again.
Oh,
It's kind of
beautiful.
It was just,
Like a give and take of love.
yeah.
That's
But she
awesome.
realized that the love that she had was actually, wasn't
From
her
Baba.
love, it was
Her
his
love.
love that she was giving back to him. That was her
I love.
experience.
Peter,
That's
could you
awesome.
say that- Okay, just say that one more time so I can write it down, please.
Yes, it is because of my love for you that you love me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love that. I've never heard that before. And
Beautiful.
I'm so grateful to get that quote on New Year's Eve.
Fred,
Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Yeah.
Thank you.
next we have Fred. Fred,
Fred,
Hi,
yeah,
can you hear me okay?
yeah, we hear you. Good.
All right. Well, I must say, Tony and can't remember who else spoke for the poem tonight, but Tony, I really enjoyed the poems on the vintage wine and the bonfire. Very thoughtful, very well written, and just really well balanced, really well written. Very it was great to take in, you know. It was just good little poem, good little note.
Thank you.
So having said that, the only thing that comes to mind tonight is just that P.E. Scott and the gangbusters down in Beantown have been I've been testing my patience tonight. Priscilla E. Scott and the gangbusters down in Beantown have been giving me a little bit of a testing my patience tonight with my electronics, I guess.
Okay. Don't quite understand that, but yeah. Anyone else have something to
That's
share?
about all I have to say about that.
Yeah, thank you.
But other than that, you know, just doing all right. Just you know, just gotta do what you gotta do, I guess, right? I mean, there's just no other way out. Just do it, you know. Or not just do it, but
Yeah, and you, and then Bob will be there behind
I'm
you.
lost for words.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to Rainey.
Okay.
Hi, I had a couple of guzzles selected for tonight, so could you mute, please, Fred? I had a couple of guzzles selected for tonight, but my eyes keep falling on a different one. You know how it is. And especially with Marta's reading, for some reason this one, which has a fabulous line in that I've been using a lot lately. How quickly time slips. How quickly time slips. It's when you're in our homes full of such treasured items that remind us so much of so many rich and astonishing things that have happened in our lives with Meherabad, and then suddenly there's a surprise. And all of that vanishes, and how quickly time slips. So I'd like to read this guzzle. It's deep and it's difficult. Guzzle 146 from In Dust I Sing. No one knows the pain of stone. No one knows the pain of stone, its dull dream and its slow lust. Yet this is the halfway mark from man to singing dust. No one could endure this state but for the beloved's smile, supporting and urging one on, mile after static mile. This non-travelling is what is called the spiritual way, by which is made living the image which God wrought in clay. The moon rose tonight in all her beauty, yellow and round, and I wept for the chains of distance with which she was bound. Nearness and farness, these are the only two words that make any sense to the lover. Kisses and wine and swords. I could not endure distance if my beloved were not near. But the nearer I draw, the further away does he appear. And then suddenly he is beside me. Suddenly he's beside me, pouring wine through my stone lips.
Some kind of pill she's on? Is it
And in a
some kind of pill
moment, and in a moment, then suddenly he is beside me, pouring wine between my stone lips. And in a moment, the night and the pain are gone. How quickly time slips.
Beautiful. Wow. And that was what it was like around Baba.
From stone to, he's beside me. It's so, and of course it's done to melody, and in comes a G major, and suddenly he's beside me. You have to stop the cassette, you have to stop it because he's there. And all along you are just groveling along as a piece of stone, you know. How quickly time slips. It's like always be the darling. Always remember he's calling us darling. Even the stone, with slow lust, everything is trying its damnedest long, horrid journey to remember. But then suddenly he's beside us, and how quickly time slips.
You know, Rainey, this reminds me of something that Merwan Jesawala described. Baba would not allow them to kick a stone. If there was a stone in the way, they had to kind of slide it off with their foot to kind of push it off to the side. They couldn't just go and kick a stone.
Wow.
The reverence was there, even for the stone form where, and most of us in childhood, just kicked stone down the street on the way to school or something. But you just come up beside it and just push it to the side.
Right. There's that infamous story when I was really young, when I first met the Mandali, and everyone was allowed to ask Erich something, and it was my turn. People have heard this before, and I was a gemologist, a young student of gemology, and I said, Erich, trying to look important, Erich, is diamond the firstmost stone or the lastmost stone? And Erich looked at Francis like, good God, fellow, where do you get these kids from? and so he said, I'm not really sure. I'll think about it and I'll tell you tomorrow.
Beautiful.
So tomorrow came. And Erich said, I would have to think, because I also said being the hardest stone in the known universe, is it the firstmost stone or the lastmost stone? Erich said, I would have to think, if that is the case, Baba in his compassion would make it the lastmost stone. That stone would experience all of its selves before it got to be diamond.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't know, but he'd have to think.
Anyone else with something to share? We can also come back too. Bob, you got another poem there.
At any rate, what I was saying was, if you can hear me, is I'd really like to read the book, The Enigma of Anger. I don't know who the author is. The Enigma of Anger, as you can probably guess where I'm going with this, is what precipitates or what preoccupies the human mind to become so fixed and so framed and so focused on whether it's anger or love or what have you. It was shown to me by a former respected pastor and reverend of a Protestant and Protestant Baptist church in the north, up in the northern New England. He was a respected graduate of Oral Roberts and Harvard Divinity School. He's now heading up a Union church out in Chicago. I don't know the exact denomination, but he is I haven't heard from him in a long time actually, but he's a pretty right guy. So
yeah. Well, we touch on subjects,
he introduced me to a
touch
lot of
on
good books.
subjects.
One of them was called Mark for Everyone, about the book of Mark. He introduced me to The Message, contemporary version of the Bible, translated from Hebrew into English, and from Hebrew into English over a 15-year period. It's a big, thick Bible, but it's written in everyday language, what you find in newspapers or television. And he had a bookshelf that was probably a good several thousands of books on his shelf, with magazines and books, and he probably read a good 2/3 or majority of it. He was a big reader and a great writer.
Well, I'll get together with you sometime. You can share that, but right now we're sharing, poems and songs and stories and everything. Yeah,
Go ahead.
but I'll put down my email. Go ahead.
So I was reading actually my dad's book, God Seeker, and I came across a passage where Baba talks about the difference between religion and spirituality. And I think it sort of rings true for what's going on right now. And it's rather long, so I'll cut out most of it. And the one paragraph that really stood out for me is this one. And Baba says, the most practical thing to do in the world is to be spiritually minded. It needs no special time, place, or circumstances. It is not necessarily concerned with anything out of the way of anyone's daily life and day-to-day routine. It is never too late or too early to be spiritual. It is just a simple question of having a right attitude of mind towards lasting values, changing circumstances, avoidable eventualities, and a sense of the inevitable. Spirituality is neither restricted to, nor can it be restricted by anyone or anything, anywhere, at any time. It covers all life for all time, yet it can very easily be achieved with selfless service and pure love that know no bondage and seek no boundaries. A mighty surge of this spirituality is about to sweep over the world. My blessings to you all. Jai Baba.
Beautiful.
Oh, here, can you read that again, please? Sure.
Yeah.
Jeff had to get off and I missed part of it. Please. Baba says, the most practical thing to do in the world is to be spiritually minded. It needs no special time, place, or circumstances. It is not necessarily concerned with anything out of the way of anyone's daily life and day-to-day routine. It is never too late or too early to be spiritual. It is just a simple question of having a right attitude of mind toward lasting values, changing circumstances, avoidable eventualities, and a sense of the inevitable. Spirituality is neither restricted to, nor can it be restricted by anyone or anything, anywhere, at any time. It covers all life for all time, yet it can very easily be achieved with selfless service and pure love that know no bondage and seek no boundaries. A mighty surge of this spirituality is about to sweep over the world. My blessings to you all.
That part of what year was that?
This
that
was
the
in
30s?
it was the year 1947 in Madras when he had given a
Uh-huh.
darshan program there. And he was comparing religion and spirituality. So
Yeah, part of that reminds me of the Serenity Prayer. Does anybody know the Serenity Prayer by heart?
Yes.
God grant, okay, Marion.
It can be said with I or we. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Part of what you read reminds me of the Serenity Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable, unavoidable eventualities.
yes, right.
It was 4 things in a row that were really powerful.
Yes.
What were they?
Okay, it is just a simple question of having a right attitude of mind toward lasting values, changing circumstances, avoidable eventualities, and a sense of the inevitable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it just jumped out at me, this paragraph. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Jai Baba.
Beautiful.
And Terry.
Hi, Jay Baba. I got this in an email by Bob Aarons on Kitty Davy. Kitty was a close disciple of Meher Baba. Like we don't know that, but Baba stayed in her family home in London on his first trip to the West in 1931. Later, after Kitty had been living with Baba in his ashram in India for many years, Baba asked her to stay at the Meher Center in Myrtle Beach on his trip there in 1952. This was fortunate for all of us, although it must have been difficult for Kitty, not that she was anything but cheerful. Kitty, although flighty on the surface, was deeply grounded in his love and service and was crucial in her love for him for innumerable souls who came to the center seeking him. In the book, One Fine Thread, a collection of her talks over many years at the Meher Center and other Baba centers, her wisdom shines through. In one small example, in the introduction, Kitty reflects on the wisdom gained in living with Baba. She was staying in Upper Meherabad with many other of his women disciples. She comments on an incident in the late 1930s. One day, some of us women were squabbling about a decision we had to make regarding a task we had been given by Baba. Unexpectedly, Baba strode up to us and spelt out on his board, "You Westerners always worrying about the right decision or the wrong decision. Don't you know? I made the decision long ago. There's no such thing as a mistake. All that matters is the motive behind the decision. Are you doing it for me or are you doing it for yourself?"
Read that, Diane, read that last little bit again on the hill there.
One day, some of us women were squabbling about a decision we had to make regarding a task we had been given by Baba. Unexpectedly, Baba strode up to us and spelt out on his board, "You Westerners always worrying about the right decision or the wrong decision. Don't you know? I made the decision long ago. There is no such thing as a mistake. All that matters is the motive behind the decision. Are you doing it for me or are you doing it for yourself?"
Beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful. What is that from?
You know, I don't know. He doesn't quote it. I'm on an email list where it's called In His Love. No, that's not it. I lied. It's by Bob Aarons.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it could be in Love Alone Prevails.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look. Thank you.
If that reminded me of that thing that Eric said that you told us, you Westerners are always trying to figure things out or do the right thing. And Eric says, just put it at Baba's feet or something like that.
Yeah, it was, what he said is that you Westerners, when you come up against an obstacle in your path, you make these Herculean efforts to surmount and rise above and climb over them. But in the East, when we find an obstacle in our path, we just fall at his feet. Different approach. Quite a different approach. Here's what I wanted to, I thought I would share something here. You know, we all kind of get these flashes from Baba. I mean, over the years, people told me they've had flashes from Baba, like intuitions, and they're very instructive and helpful and all that. For example, there's one lady that works at the center named Valerie McKean. And she kind of didn't believe in these kind of communications from Baba, you know, that people were getting these, you know, messages and little instructions and everything. But she was living out there in Utah in this like tall apartment building, many stories up. And she's there in her apartment one day and she hears this voice that says, go down and do your laundry. And she, she kind of puts it out of her mind, but it comes back again, go down and do your laundry. The laundry is all the way at the bottom of this apartment complex. She keeps, kind of pushing it away, but there's an insistence upon it. So she says, okay, I'll go down and do my laundry. For who, she has no idea. So, but anyway, so she goes all the way down to the the basement of this apartment complex with her laundry. And she's down there, starting up putting stuff in the washing machines. And there's like an Indian family over there, and she hears the name Shireen. She kind of says, "Oh, Shireen, do you people? I know that name." And she kind of gets up a little conversation, and sure enough, she finds us Baba lovers, a whole family of Baba lovers living in the same apartment complex, and so they start having, I don't know, maybe 30 some floors up, they start having Baba meetings. But, it's just these kind of communications that you can kind of dismiss them and all that. But so she got a surprise, that there are these communications. But anyway, so recently I had a communication. They occur during the day, and sometimes I get them, they give me they're like mini flashes from Baba, and sometimes I write them down, but normally I don't. But one I had recently reminded me of a telegram that Baba sent to Delia de Leon. This was during World War II. She was in London while everything was, while London was being bombarded. And she was known as a real classic worrier. And like, this is like your worst nightmare for a worrier. I mean, the Germans are bombing London, and Baba sends her a cable, where he says, now I don't know if these are the exact words, but he says, remain calm. If you remain calm, I will be able to work through you. So imagine, in the middle of all of this devastation, remain calm. If you remain calm, I will be able to work through you. So that's a very interesting thing. So now, Mayor Prasad, do you have that quote? There's
Yes.
Another quote that's very interesting that Baba gave at another time.
Yeah, this is to Adiki Rani. Amidst intense activity, if there is absolute calmness of mind, that is the highest love. Amidst,
read that one again. This is a hint from the Avatar himself, Read that again.
yeah. Amidst intense activity, if there is absolute calmness of mind, that is the highest love.
And in a way, like I say, if you think of the calmness of mind, that there's the sun, and when the clouds lift, the sun just shines. When the mind is quiet, the cloudiness of the mind is lifted. The sun of love can shine. But anyway, so I had this flash a few days back, and this is what I saw. It was just a mini glimpse. And I saw this wave of energy of love flowing into me, and automatically this love hit my mind and got tangled up with the activity of my mind. And part of my mind was taking it, took it for its own purposes, directing some of it to the past, some of it directed toward the present, and some of it directed to the future. Instead of it was like this love, because of my son's scars, the love was getting earmarked already in advance. Instead of staying there with me in a kind of expansive present, it's being siphoned off by my mind. Now that was the image I got. And but in early childhood, when love would come into me, it would just stay there and fill the expansive present. I didn't have much of a thought of future or the past. And so it remained there, in an expansive and timeless present. So then this reminded me of something, a comic vision that I had back in the 70s in the old Pilgrim Center. And I had always been, I'd always kind of pondered this at that time, is Baba says that his love is always flowing toward us, that grace is always flowing toward us. And I thought, well, what happens to it? All this love is coming, and where is it going? So this is the flash that Baba gave. Now, this is a poem that I wrote that captures this dilemma. And it's called A Few Miserly Drops. The beloved once revealed that every moment the infinite ocean of divine love crashes against our soul. But by the time it passes through us, what emerges is a mere rivulet, or at most a river. Imagine that, every moment the ocean reduced to a small stream. With his lively humor, the beloved illustrated this to me. This is the little vision I had. A man is seated in a chair with powerful ocean waves striking against him from behind. In front, the man has in his hand a small spigot, a tap, from which he offers this thirsty world only a few miserly drops. What became of the stupendous ocean, and why so little of it is offered to others? Almost all of this abundant love is siphoned off and used to protect and promote ourselves. With saints and mystics, the divine ocean passes through them with very little obstruction. That is how they can instantly fill a whole room, a huge auditorium, or even an entire countryside with pure love. So the challenge has been, to see how this love gets siphoned off by me as it comes into me. It's always coming. How am I siphoning it off? I'm using it for irrigation here, for future projects there and everything. And then very little of it comes out front here to you folks. When you consider, the infinite love, is striking us. And it has to pass through us. And boy, we have a lot of uses for it. Anyway, that was my meditation.
Dear Baba, everybody. I had 3 quotes that were from various places of the You and I book that Rick Chapman had, and combined some things. And it's actually on the same, these 3 quotes I had chosen are very similar to what we're talking about. And because Rick didn't give the places where I got these from, they're all Baba's quotes, but I don't have a page or a book. But the first one I chose: by thinking continually, you become what you think of deeply. The mind makes one become what one thinks of deeply. I'll say that again. By thinking continually, you become what you think of deeply. The mind makes one become what one thinks of deeply. And I'm going to read the second one. Love is the cleanser that wipes the mirror bright and enables you to behold with increasing clarity the indivisible entity that permeates all life. I'll read it again. Love is the cleanser that wipes the mirror bright and enables you to behold with increasing clarity the indivisible entity that permeates all life. And the third one was just how this went. When nothing upsets you, you are at the beginning of the path. When you desire nothing, you are halfway on the path. When nothing becomes everything, you are perfected.
Oh, read that one again.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
I'm thinking, well, okay. And when the topic of all this is, it's been resonating with me this past few weeks. So when nothing upsets you, you are at the beginning of the path. When you desire nothing, you're halfway on the path. When nothing becomes everything, you are perfected.
Right.
And when you just said that, Jeff, about this little poem and how you were prompted, the last several weeks have been a roller coaster of several things that have kept my mind extraordinarily busy. So I think I had alluded maybe on one of these things that I decided to just stay on the Baba train of companionship to keep my mind from not going somewhere, which had to do with the first one. I figured if I thought of Baba, then things would be better. And yet I was still working with control about Patty. So my mind was still not necessarily going to the heart for the drama. And so as the things kept evolving and it got more complicated and urgent care, doctors, imaging, blood drawn, it just went on and no information was really coming forthright. And then still yet tomorrow we have I think hopefully the culmination of all this thing, but we'll see. But what has happened during this whole process, and which I think Baba has found very entertaining actually, is that when I could see and be in the present moment with my mind, I understood exactly witnessing what was going on. Then if I would dive into my heart a bit, I could settle into the present, accept what was. I'm nowhere near that third stage, so I'm kind of just moving between both, but it's so evident that the beloved's knowledge of what has to happen, in the phrase that it's already been spoken or written, you don't have to worry about what decision is right. And in my case, that's what I was doing for this last 6 weeks. And when we're able to just sit in our heart space, and I think something was said of that earlier today on Effort and Grace, we're all fine if we answer from there. If we really answer from the divine being that we are, we're okay. And everything is nothing. So, I mean, these three things have been just circling me these few weeks, and I've been watching, and it's just a wonderful journey. And Baba all the time gives me twinkles of assurance that he's got everything. It's all okay. I mean, no matter what the outcome is, it's all okay. It doesn't matter. It's just in my path. And the only thing I can do is keep settling into the heart space, and imaging Baba in everyone and everything, and feeling and permeating the love out there. It was wonderful to do that meditation today. I hadn't done that for a while with the group, and it was really powerful to have your Baba's love flowing into persons, and it was really beautiful. So anyway, I thank you guys for showing up, and really beautiful.
That the one poem you said reminds me of Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi was one of the greatest of the Sufi perfect masters. And he said, at the beginning of the path, mine is yours and yours is mine. On the path itself, there is no mine and there is no yours. And at the end of the path, there is no me and there is no you. Something happened.
Lovely.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Bobby, you got anything else there?
Yeah, I've got a short one that I wrote some time ago that started off in the first person, but I rewrote it in the plural. So I'd like to read that. It's titled "Fish to the Fisher." Beloved Lord, your fish are caught. The hooks are set, the lines are taut. Since we can neither sink nor swim, we're waiting till you reel us in. What else is there to say or do, or think, or hope? There's only you. What is there left to lose or win while waiting till you reel us in? Thus life drifts on from day to day, the come and go, and come what may. Love's tide flows full and then so thin while waiting till you reel us in. We cannot see an end or start for a lost and longing heart. It's all as it has always been while waiting till you reel us in. Beloved Lord, your fish are caught. The hooks are set, the lines are taut. Since we can neither sink nor swim, we'll wait until you reel us in.
Hey. Beautiful.
Jay Bella.
Just beautiful. They're just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I echo that. That was terrific. Yeah, enjoyed it.
Reading was was perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you all. It's so wonderful to hear you all. And Baba once said, I've got it on my wall somewhere here, the only reason to have meetings and gatherings is to share my love, and that's what happens here. This is just so wonderful. So thank you all.
Bob, that was fantastic. Thank you. Oh my God, it's great. Reel us in.
Any, let's see, let me just check around. Anybody,
Marion, did Marion share?
yeah, Marion is here.
Well, I did, but mine is like 3.5 minute long story, and I didn't
No
know
wonder I forgot it. Sorry, Marion.
if we had time for that. I wasn't sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Did I do that? Okay.
Yeah.
I did read this at Meherabad House many years ago, so someone may have heard this before, but it's very dear to my heart. So it happened in the 1994 or something like that. And the name of it is Baba and the Bears. 2 bears, small wild bears, ran onto the patio and right into my arms. I was in an office waiting room with other people. There were 2 open French doors leading out onto the patio. It was a nice, warm summer day. I knew the bears were mine. I loved them. They were frisky and happy. Then I panicked, not knowing how to care for them in my apartment. I worked and could not leave them alone. Wild bears would not thrive and survive in a New York City apartment. What should I do? At that moment, I woke up. Not fully awake, but enough to know I was having a dream that was turning into a nightmare. I knew it was a dream, but in this lucid state, the dream was also a reality I had to resolve. My bedroom was a mirage, and yet the dream was fading, and I was in between. I decided to re-enter the dream to resolve this terrible dilemma. As I drifted back into the dream, Meher Baba appeared in front of me. It was his upper torso from his waist up. He put out his arms, and at that moment, both bear cubs appeared in my lap, and I handed them to Baba with great relief. I felt his love and knew all was well and went back to sleep. When I awoke, I recalled the experience with deep gratitude, knowing I had surrendered to Meher Baba, my spiritual master, all that weighed heavily on me. The weekend after this experience, I was at my therapy training center in Phoenicia, New York, for my bi-monthly teaching of others to learn to be helpers. I worked with another teacher, Margaret. We were training about 15 students to be spiritual helpers. This would be the last weekend of the series just before the summer break. At the end of the lesson, a student spoke up and announced the class wanted to express their thanks to Margaret and me by giving us gifts. Margaret always had an armload of books and notepads in her arms as she walked around the center grounds. She unwrapped her gift. It was a beautifully woven tote bag to carry her supplies. One of the students placed a brown paper shopping bag in front of me. Colorful tissue paper stuck out over the top, hiding a gift nestled in the bag. I reached down and peered inside. I saw something soft and brown. I grabbed it and pulled it out with the tissue paper. I looked with shock. It was a brown bear. Not a teddy bear, but a stuffed wild bear. A bear just like the two bears in my dream. It had a place in its back to insert my hand, and I could move the head and arms like an alive bear. In a split second, I knew intuitively that Baba was giving back to me a symbol of the burden I surrendered to him. My faith deepened that there is a goodness within that takes care of me as I let go of trying so hard to manage burdens. I burst into tears. The students looked puzzled as those strong emotions poured out of me at the sight of the stuffed bear. As I quieted down from sobbing, I told them about my dream. There was a hush in the room and a few gasps. Everyone realized that this was a sacred moment. I took a deep breath, looked around the room at each student, experiencing the deep love and gratitude we had for each other in the teachings. They named the bear Golden Drop, a symbol used for the reality that we are all one. Golden drops in God's ocean of love. I call him Wild Bear. One of the students told the story of how the bear was chosen as a gift for me. 3 of them were assigned to pick out teacher gifts in the shop that we had at the center near our dining hall. They found the perfect tote bag for Margaret. Then one of them, Mary, spoke up, pointing at the stuffed bear. There was a trio of 3 students doing the shopping. She pointed, "That is for Marion." The other 2 shoppers balked, thinking I would not like to be given a stuffed bear when Margaret got the useful bag. Mary insisted, "No, the bear is for Marion." Because she was so highly regarded, they gave in. Now they, along with all the other students, realized that in her wisdom, her high intuition, she chose exactly the right gift for me. Wild Bear sat on the daybed in my therapy session room for many years. If one of my therapy clients needed to cuddle him for comfort, he provided that loving presence. Now he sits on my bed and sleeps with me at night. I learned from bioenergetic studies many years ago about energy that when children or even adults love an object, such as a toy or blanket, they wrap their energy body around it. That imbues the object with a love that is felt by the person when looking at or holding the toy or blanket. In reality, Wild Bear emanates love for me as much as I love him. And this is Wild Bear.
Wow. It's pretty big too. Yeah.
Yes. He's like a little bear, like a real little bear. Yeah. And he hugs me and I hug him, and there's all that love that flows between us. Yeah. Thank you.
Lovely. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. And well, I wonder.
I could sing a song.
Yeah, good. Sing a song of praise for the beloved.
Well, this song keeps coming up in my mind, and as you can see, I'm surrounded here by my dear late friend John Parry. But this is a terrific guzzle in The Beloved Is All in All, and I'll just sing it a cappella. It's to a Jim Meyer melody. But the last line says, and it becomes a radif, repeating radif, because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death, because I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. You have expressed much loving kindness to me of late, bending down from your beyondness, tender, compassionate. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. 'Cause I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. By this I know that I am now not very far from death, which I welcome, for it will bring me closer to you in birth. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. For I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. And will not my dust whisper inspired songs in the singer's ears, so that they will sing all night, sing till the pale dawn appears? And will not you in that dawn open to them your door, and a few drops may spill on my dust of the wine you pour? Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. For I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath.
Beautiful. Hey, well, before we go,
That was so great.
I never saw this guzzle. This is what's interesting. And Sam never saw this guzzle. Jim found this guzzle. And I had this thought that there was a period when Francis was extremely sick and had to be transferred to Meherabad and Padre treat him. And I like to think that this came out of that 3-month illness. And just every couplet, it's page 36 in The Beloved Is All in All, for those that have that book. I think I skipped a couplet where Barbara's bending down like a beautiful rain cloud, healing the parched earth, as a breeze from the hills, filling the night with his perfumed breath. I mean, as Jeff says, living with him every moment for 10 years, reality is like another whole ball game, right, Jeff?
no, that's why it's great to hear all that Francis has to say about what it's like to be with Bob a day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You know? Hey, Bob, have you got, we're coming down toward the end, but have you got a final poem that you?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, hey, I got 2, but one of them, oh, you got, oh, wait just a second. I just saw it. Wait, you got to do this one and then you can do another.
Okay.
It's on page 61, pulling at a thread.
Oh, yeah.
This is about self-effacement.
Hey, Bob, can you read it twice right off the bat, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
This is Bob Yeager's version of self-effacement.
Pulling at a thread. I noticed the thread on the button of the shirt and pulled. And when the button fell off, there was a moment's irritation until the thought occurred to me, the possibility that this unraveling could simply continue up the sleeve, across the shoulders, down the torso and the other arm all at once. And then by some odd attraction unknown to science, progress from the shirt tail to the shorts and trousers and socks, and then inexplicably jumping like lightning from earth to sky, the mystery would continue from the tips of the toes all the way up the body till nothing remained to my wife's astonished gaze but a slappy happy Cheshire grin. Then side to side, that too would go, not fading cat-like, but a clean unwinding. And then another lightning leap to mind, and all the dark and hidden residue floating up and up like buried stuff from deep swamp muck stirred by wind, coming to light and lining up bit by bit like the loopy threads on a dog food sack. And if you can find just the right place to start, they unzip thread by binding thread quickly and easily, just like that, until nothing is left but you, beloved.
Well.
Oh my
God,
God, it's too much, too much.
That one was fun. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Wow.
I mean, and you know those, you know that like not, well, dog food sacks, but there's also like bird feed, you know. And
Yeah, right.
If you get the right thing, it just right up. But
right out.
Usually I'm in there with a knife trying to do it piece by piece. Read that one once again.
Okay. I noticed the thread on the button of the shirt and pulled. And when the button fell off, there was a moment's irritation until the thought occurred to me, the possibility that this unraveling could simply continue up the sleeve, across the shoulders, down the torso and the other arm all at once. And then by some odd attraction unknown to science, progress from the shirt tail to the shorts, trousers, and socks, and then inexplicably jumping like lightning from earth to sky, the mystery would continue from the tips of the toes all the way up the body, till nothing remained to my wife's astonished gaze but a slappy, happy Cheshire grin. Then, side to side, that too would go, not fading cat-like, but a clean unwinding. And then another lightning leap to mind, and all the dark and hidden residue floating up and up like buried stuff from deep swamp muck stirred by wind, coming to light and lining up bit by bit like the loopy threads on a dog food sack. And if you can find just the right place to start, they unzip thread by binding thread quickly and easily, just like that, until nothing is left but you, beloved. Sort of the most mixed metaphor in the world.
No, it's magnificent.
No, it's great. It's great.
Bob, have you ever seen, Francis had a period where we had to watch everything Japanese, kabuki and no drama and everything. One of the things he wanted us to see in kabuki was they would creep on stage in grey so you couldn't see them. And if the person was in a black gown, these prop people knew how to pull a thread and suddenly the whole thing on the star would reverse and it was bright red.
Oh, wow.
That came to mind.
Wow.
It was some ancient art that we probably couldn't do any, or they still do it when they do kabuki now. Yeah. And so straight away this thread that can just is real, you know. It's a great imagery. Thank you. That was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes.
And I would like to do one more that's fairly recent and I'm still fiddling around with it, but it's titled Spellbound. Watching your movie, 8,400,000 lives is delightful, horrifying, happy, heart-wrenching, overflowing with joy, filled with sorrow. Though hungry, thirsty, I cannot leave my seat. If I could, I would forget about soda and popcorn and leave, not just my seat, but this glittering theater, to wander the streets, no GPS or map, no direction but longing for your love, until at long last arriving at your tavern, I'd sit outside in light and dark until you bade me enter and offered just a sip, but I cannot leave my seat. What to do but beg your love and watch as scenes roll on, trying always to remember this is not my movie, but yours. Begging more and more to entrust the outcome, whatever it is, to you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Voila, that's not only are you a great poet, you are a wonderful bard. That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, so shall we have a few moments of silence? I don't know if Alan had anything, but
Jeff, Marsha was trying to share some art, I guess. Marsha.
show us one of your.
So I made about 30 of them when I was at the center. So it's not the best way to, let's see. I don't know if you can see it good. It's a hard way to show it. Well, here's a picture of Baba I made. Where are you, Baba? I'm not doing too good here. I'm on my iPhone. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Oh.
Lovely.
Marsha, it's beautiful.
Wow.
Wait. Hey, Baba. It's just so dark. Well, here's this one's not really finished. Wait. Where? No, that's me. Huh. I did that in one couple hours before I left the farm shed, so I don't know if it's done or not.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still in Myrtle Beach. I was supposed to leave. I'm still here.
Oh. I didn't
They
know.
didn't pick up my car. They didn't pick up my car, so I'm out in Little River at Jackie's place. It's really nice. Yeah. I said, I can't go home without my car being shipped, so I got lucky because I didn't really want to go. Yeah.
There you go.
You know, I could tell you one little funny story before I go. You know, when my dog Lucy died, I hadn't dreamt about her at all. And a week before I left, I saw her outside in a strange place and I didn't know where it was, but she was on the other side and I couldn't get to her, but I knew she was rolling around and she was happy. And yesterday I'm sitting in Jackie's living room and I'm looking at her, you know, porch door that opens up. And that's exactly where the dog was. And I had never been here before. So talk about a Baba story, right? It was
Yeah.
that's where my dream was. I said, I couldn't figure out in the dream, where was I, you know? And it was like, I was right in her living room. It was like, whoa. Yeah, he's done some really, when you're out here, it's like in the woods and you see a lot of Baba stuff. It's like, whoa, he doesn't let up, you know? It's like,
Beautiful.
yeah. I've had this big adventure for so many months. It's like, oh my God, I can't even tell you. It's like, whoa. Yeah. But anyway, I miss all of you.
Yeah.
I haven't been seeing you. Yeah.
Let's see let's hear from Alan.
Yep.
And then we'll have a few moments of silence.
Hey, yes. Well, you guys were going back and forth with some poems here, I decided to pull out my copy of the good old Jeff Wolverton poems. And
Bob, Bob is that Bob, that's the Bob that's on the other side.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're here, Bob Yeager?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay. All right. Wow. So this one, Jeff, this one hit me pretty good. I really appreciate this one. It's called Going Out Without a Coat. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
One day the beloved, speaking metaphorically, said to me, "You are comfortable when the temperature is between 50 and 80 degrees. But now I want you to feel comfortable even at 20 degrees below and 120 above. If you cannot bear the full range of temperatures, how will you ever acquire real poise?" He was speaking of my heart's tolerance. How much unpleasantness could I bear before screaming in protest? How will I be able to participate fully in life if I feel hurt by the searing heat of an angry glance, or am threatened by the thin, chilling smile of indifference? I'll read it again. One day the beloved, speaking metaphorically, said to me, "You are comfortable when the temperature is between 50 and 80 degrees. But now I want you to feel comfortable even at 20 degrees below and 120 above. If you cannot bear the full range of temperatures, how will you ever acquire real poise?" He was speaking of my heart's tolerance. How much unpleasantness could I bear before screaming in protest? How will I be able to participate fully in life if I feel hurt by the searing heat of an angry glance, or am threatened by the thin, chilling smile of indifference? J. Bob.
That's a great one.
I don't even remember writing that.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
So let's have a few moments of silence before we disappear into the ether. Jai Baba. Thank you all for
Thank you.
sharing things and
Hey, Baba.
yeah. Oh,
Hey,
good.
Baba,
We have to stay with
everyone.
that. The bouncer has to kind of run us out of the tavern here.
Okay, there we go. Avatar, Meher Baba, Ki
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes.
Thank you,
You
Jeff.
know, I won't be able to go to sleep with wine on my breath because I'm on the center. Not allowed.
The
Except
divine wine's always on your breath, Jeff. You don't have to drink it.
right in this drawer here. Well, this is great. You know, it's beautiful. We have enough, you know, things amongst us to entertain Bob.
Beautiful. He
And,
loves it. Yeah.
Jeff, you were wondering if there was going to be anybody that would share.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, like, You know,
There you
at the
go.
last moment, Jimmy Kahn wasn't able to be here, so good.
Thank you, Bob. Lovely to meet you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To meet you. Great to see you all.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Jai Baba.
Everyone. Jai Baba.
Yay,
Hey,
Baba.
Baba.
Bye bye, Brown Bear.
Oh,
Bye, Brown Bear. Jai Baba.
Bye.
Yeah.
No
Jai-
bear.
great story.
Jai Baba, everyone.
Jai Baba.
Ellen, it was
Hey,
great being with you
Baba.
guys. I'm gonna
Hey,
write you an email.
Yes.
Jai
Oh, I'll
Baba.
tell you, just stop for a second.
Oh.
You know, this
Don't
was
hit the leave
amazing. One night, we stayed up rather late in the Lakeview kitchen at the center, 5 of us. And we had been talking for about an hour and everything, and we suddenly realized that a month before, or a month and a half before, there was this kind of big gathering on Zoom, and everybody was then sent into breakout rooms. And it was the 5 of us
Oh, wow.
that in this breakout group. It was the same that was meeting here a month and a half later,
Fabulous.
talking till the wee hours of the night.
Fantastic.
I mean, the chances of that are just impossible. And
Amazing.
Alan and Adrian and Robbie, I don't know if you know Robbie Evans, and Matt Shepard.
Amazing. Wow. I love that photo.
And sometime, Raina, if you can read that one of those talks by Francis,
Oh, yes.
it was really one of the talks that he gave after Baba dropped his body.
Mhm.
Anyway, see you guys.
Jai Baba. Night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Hi, Jay Baba.
Yeah.
Right.
Jai
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
Hey,